Turkey is now becoming very interested in Iran's situation and may be the way to try to turn that place around. In addition, by the way, they supply some of the gasoline to Iran. China supplies 1/3 of the gasoline to Iran. And between the two of them, wouldn't it be interesting if all of a sudden, that government got turned over to a more friendly kind of a situation for the U.S., and they became our ally in the Middle East, and then in turn put the pressure on Israel and Palestine to settle that proposition over there?
No, I don't think America has a problem with Islam. I think that America is a tolerant country. I can tell you that my opponents did everything that they could to try to destroy my candidacy based on my religion, and they failed. People voted for me anyway. And people are, God willing, going to vote for me again. And so, and if they don't, it won't be because of religion. And so I don't think America's anti any religion. I think that there are bigots within our society, and we have to stand up against them and stand together. That our country has a tradition of religious tolerance. We should stand on that tradition. We should hold fast to it. It's worth standing up for. And that anyone who would want to turn one American against another based on religious differences is wrong to do so. I said that, the Muslim community is a community that has given many contributions to this great country. And I said that, we should be clear that, this kind of provocation should not be rewarded with a reaction.
Welcome back to BElAhdan. You saw this peace forum, and First Unitarian here in Minneapolis was organized by Jay Shahidi. He is a peace activist, human rights activist, and he is with us today, and we're going to talk to him about why did you, welcome to BElAhdan first, Jay, and I just wonder, why did you see the need to have a peace forum? It's obviously peace. Everybody wants peace, and then now you have to have a forum to explain why peace is really important and necessary.
Well, I've been involved in programs, helping organize programs and helping organize forums where we discuss the whole issue of the broad issue of war and peace. And I've been very active at the United Nations Association, and currently I'm the chair of the Advocacy Committee of the United Nations Association of Minnesota. And so every year we set up some kind of programming for the International Day of Peace, which was proclaimed by the United Nations. And the whole idea is to get the entire world concentrate on the issue, have programs, walks, events relating to peace, and explore the whole possibility. And therefore, this year we decided to have a forum, and since it was in Congressman Ellison's district, the location, so I asked him to come, and he graciously accepted it. And we wanted to basically present alternative views, and the questions that I posed were, religion and world peace, can they coexist? Some people say we're always going to have wars. Some people are very fatalistic about the idea of peace, that it's not going to be possible. Mm-hmm. But of course, I believe it is possible. I mean, can you imagine, for example, in Western Europe, France and England getting into another war? They did for centuries, but they learned how to coexist. Can you imagine a war between Japan and the United States? I cannot think of it, and I think that's very possible that we could do the same between Israel and its Arab neighbors.
It seems like everybody talks about peace, especially in the United States. They talk about peace all the time, but they're always in war.
Well, that's
so is it easier to launch war than to maintain peace? So what is the definition of peace?
Well, there is really the psychological question that is human nature aggressive to the point that we'll always have violence, and I know we'll always have conflict, but there are so many other ways we've devised to deal with conflict. But the question that we're always going to have physical violence, whether within a society, within a family, And within the international community, I guess that's the question we are addressing. And I believe that, societies have been able to bring relative peace. So the main question is whether human nature can accept peace as an alternative to war. But we also get into the more mundane issues as, okay, there are people who make profit, who make money, who
yes, I want
establish
to talk
names.
about
I mean, like
the money.
adventurers always became important. Like, we call, for example, Alexander the Great or Napoleon the Great because they won wars, because they went on a world conquest and they wanted the world according to their own image, and they told everybody else, shut up and listen to me. Can we get away from that? And I think we have proven in certain societies. I mean, Costa Rica doesn't even have an army. Why would anybody want to invade Costa Rica? They're not threatened by Costa Rica. Once you build...
Do they have oil?
Well, they have a lot of natural resources. But the point is, I'm not anti-defense. I believe every nation, every community, every city, every family needs ways of protecting itself. But when it becomes excessive, when you lobby and produce weapons that you don't need, when you instigate wars to make monetary profit, that's what we are against, and we hope that we can grow out of it.
It seems like in the last 100 years, I mean, a lot of people talk about the role of religion in starting out wars. And as Keith Ellison says, most people want peace, and by nature people want peace, and in order to launch a war, you have to deceit, you have to manufacture it. So it's not really the religion, it's just people are manufacturing reasons and more using religion to...
Case in point, look at the conflict in Northern Ireland in the last 40 years. We were bombarded through the media that it's a war between Catholics and Protestants. Well, you do a little research, you realize that wasn't the case. The reason was that the British landowners went to Northern Ireland, bought land, and they were Protestants, and they started turning the native Irish Catholics into second-class citizens. So then atrocities begin, violence starts exploding, and then we say, it's the Catholics and Protestants are fighting each other. It had nothing to do with that. I mean, look at the teachings of Jesus Christ. There was nowhere in the teachings of Jesus Christ that the Crusaders, who were calling themselves Christians, should come and massacre the Muslims and on the way kill all the Jews, all the enemies, all the poor tribes on the way. I mean, where can you find in Christianity that kind of violence? But those wars are for power, for land, for resources, and you get adventurers who want to just establish their own hegemony and ideas, and then they use religion as a tool, as an excuse to get... I mean, Hitler used nationalism to get to power, and he engaged in all those atrocities, but we've had religion used for all kinds of purposes. I mean, misused and used for all kinds of evil purposes under the name of God, which calls... In every religion I know, in every religion, the prophets, the leaders talk about peace and helping thy neighbor and helping the community. I don't know how you can equate religion with violence, but there are people who do, and that's why we are hoping that the society, not just American society, but the whole world will become intelligent enough to realize not to listen to the lies and propagandas of the war lobby, which Congressman Ellison so eloquently talks about.
It seems, the average person, both sides here, they're not equipped to deal with this propaganda. I mean, the people are busy in the shopping mall making a living, and then the people who really control the narrative, they can mobilize the people to go and save Kuwait, monarchy, regime, and every American wants to go to save that monarchy regime, for I don't know why. and then the most oppressive regime. And in the same token now,